Yeah, we were kind of talking offline about, the pandemic and how, it was a horrible tragedy and lots of bad things happened, but also there was a lot of opportunity. And we were both working for a big corporate gym, one that's really close to where you are, and we were unemployed. And so we didn't know what we were going to do. And part of what we decided to do, since we didn't think we were going to go back to that gym, was start our own business. And so we started Boundless Body in July of 2020. And as part of that, we built out our basement to be a Pilates studio and a studio where my wife works. She also works with fascia and does fascial releases. And it's cool to have your own space because you choose everything that goes in there. And there are 8 things on the walls downstairs. So I want you to tell me why you think these 8 things would be important. 7 of the things that are down there are Tom Myers anatomy lines. Anatomy trains. And
are you talking about are you talking things on the wall, not equipment? You're talking like posters?
Yeah, like big posters. Yeah,
okay. I see your decorative art. I see.
Yeah, yeah. So we got 7 big posters of all the deep lines of fascia in the body, and the 8th one is an emotion wheel where people can identify how they're feeling. Why do you think those 8 things are down there?
Probably because it's the full spectrum of the human experience through body to brain to consciousness, and the unifying factor is actually fascia.
I love that. Tell us all about fascia.
Okay. I'm going to try to tell you some things maybe you don't know, because it sounds like you guys already are tapped into it, which is really exciting because it's a very new and kind of innovative frontier, especially for people in movement. Fascia is a body connective tissue. There's still a lot of way to go in terms of agreement on definitions and what kind of tissues are categorized under it. I like to talk about it from a more relatable standpoint instead of fabric. So fascia is kind of like describing fabric, and you have cotton fabric and lycra fabric. And so the body has different types of fabric that serve different functions. Like linen is the myofascia, which is sturdy and kind of dense. And then you have viscera, which is kind of more like silk or sateen, and it's softer and more dainty, and it's the fascia of your organs. And so fascia is like this connective tissue that makes up the fabric and holds your body together. It gives it shape. But I think one of its most significant roles is as an entire connective tissue system, a body system, which similar to your digestive system that comes with organs like the liver, the kidneys, the intestines, the colon. Fascia, the connective tissue system, comes with its own organs, the way that fascia organizes in the body, but they're not massed organs like a heart or lungs. And so for all of this time in anatomy, it's kind of been overlooked because fascia looks like, if you were to kind of peer on the inside, like kind of a wet gel-like spider web, or like a kitten went crazy with yarn all over inside of you. And it's in corners, and it's kind of hard to identify. It looks very messy. And I think that for years, it was just cut away in anatomical dissection and in the medical field as like superfluous tissue that's get to the big organs. But when you start learning about how fascia organizes in layers and the metamorphosis of its shape, kind of like sedimentary rock, you start to see that fascia becomes a much bigger system with much more significance. And one of the greatest significance is how it unifies all other body systems. You have 3 primary networks, which are qualified as being extensive into every other region of the body. So you have your neural net, which is your nervous system. You have your circulatory net, which is vascular and lymph. And then you have your fibrous net, or your fascia, or the connective tissue system. And they are much more extensive than your digestive system, your endocrine system, because they actually are these integrative body systems that serve multiple functions on every single level. So we've been missing almost a third of the important thing about body care and health and wellness. Now, why it's interesting to people like you and I think more, is that for the pioneers in this were osteopaths, Andrew Tiller Still and Ida Rolf, and they were manual therapists that would actually go in and do more fascial manipulation through massage. And there's some really great work out there, but what I realized in my journey of healing is that manual therapy comes up really short. And it comes up short in a very significant way because the way fascial tissue works is that it's extremely dense and it's extremely hard to change. And you can remodel it, you can influence it, but it has to have high voltage force running through it. And there is no other type of accessibility to high power force like motion. And so motion all of a sudden becomes both the greatest conditioner of our tissue, what condition and state it's in, and it also becomes the way in which we can actually alter the way our bodies are functioning. So think about the way that a shore, like wave hits the shoreline and contours it and changes its topography and hits rock, and after repetitive use, it will actually change the structure of the shoreline. That's kind of how fascia remodels and works in the body to heal. When you look at it from not just like, what condition is my fascia? And a lot of times in fitness, we look at it as like, am I hydrated? Am I, smooth? Are my fibers individuated? But I came from a little bit of an even deeper, like, I want a different body. I need to like have something that would be like cellularly, non-genetically predisposed, because the things that I started learning is that my body's got some really up stuff, like really bad stuff. And it wasn't enough to just go in and try to like massage it out. It never lasted. It would always come back. I would go and do my dance performances and have flare-ups. I'd go running, I'd have flare-ups, and I'm like, I'd roll out for hours at a time and it would always come back. And so I was looking at it as like, I need some serious remodeling, like not just like paint on the wall, but like tear this wall down, put up new studs, hang new drywall, and now make it, be able to be functional. So that was a long story kind of where what fascia excites me, because fitness then becomes this medium that has not previously been used for influencing health this way, right? It's always like cardiovascular health, toning your muscles, getting strong, making sure that the myofascia is, has the right tone, it doesn't have adhesions. But there's an even like deeper science, which is really fun, because that's what started healing like autoimmune, symptoms for me. And that's what actually went in and started like changing digestive systems, brain cognitive health and function, depression. So I started seeing that these other things made fitness, or the movement of fitness, even more deeply transformative.